Good morning. I am putting my gloves on again today. It is another cold day, and I'm starting this in the parking garage for that reason. Before we get started, please like and subscribe. Please share my channel. Please comment whether you agree with me or not. I love hearing from you. I love the interaction. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Today, I'm going to talk about something that someone who commented, Jules, thank you, Jules, for your comment yesterday on yesterday's video, because I've been talking about entropy, and it's an interesting subject. And I do agree. Jules mentioned that entropy doesn't just apply to society or things breaking down in society, but also it can apply to just about anything. I mean, anything and everything, because entropy is basically the scientific explanation. This is my kindergarten version, but the scientific fact that when things get further and further apart, further and further away, they become weaker and less stable. So that is the elementary explanation of entropy. You can look up entropy, do some study on it, because there's a lot involved with it. But I have to agree with Jules that entropy can apply to human beings, but it doesn't necessarily apply to our world life circumstances in this experience. So I'm going to explain that a little bit. Oh, I have to back out. Somebody's coming in. Give me a moment here. We let people in when they're sitting at the parking garage door. We can only get in and out one at a time. So somebody was there. Thanks for your patience. So entropy, where it comes to humans, from what I read, and I agree with this. Give me one moment. I completely agree that where it comes to human beings, entropy applies where it comes to our bodies and this bodily experience, because the decay of the body is considered entropy. The breakdown of cells as we age is considered a form of entropy in a human. So basically, you know, when we're born, we're young and our cells are brand new, and as we live our lives and we put more toxins into our bodies and we live around toxins, and for whatever reason, you know, as we age, our bodies break down. They don't get stronger and stronger. We don't become younger and younger. Everything starts to break down and decay. And in biology, decay is a form of entropy. It's a breakdown of something that was at one time young and solid and put together in, you know, the way that it's supposed to be, and then over time, certain factors create instability and in biology, and those things will break down over time. So in that sense, the human body is susceptible to entropy. But Jules had mentioned that entropy doesn't necessarily apply to our circumstances, our experiences, and I agree with that. So the physical body is our, you know, what we're witnessing, what we're experiencing. It's the creation. It's this, in this world, this, I call it the game board that we're playing on here. We have an avatar that's our physical body, and that avatar is susceptible to breakdown. But where it comes to our life circumstances and our experiences, Jules had mentioned that sometimes when things break down in our lives, or when things go wrong, or when we hit bottom, like in the 12-step program, they call it hitting bottom. And when we reach a point where our experiences in life seem to be falling apart, or things aren't going our way, or things aren't working out for us, that level of negative experience can bring us to a bottom, and that can grow into an even better experience. We can take that negative that's happened to us, and we can turn that around and create something better. And I agree with that too. And that, where it comes to experiences in life, I did look this up because Jules mentioned it. I wanted to do a little bit of research, and the life experience that we have is different from the visuals that we're seeing. So there's kind of two parts to this world, to this game board that we're on here. We are, if you go back to some of my videos, we are collective consciousness, and God, or the source, the creator, is all, it's the all, the I am. God called himself I am. And so we are all part of the collective consciousness, and that is creating a scenario that is this world, which some people kind of describe it like it's a dream. Some people describe this like it's a dream world. But as we create this dream or this experience in this life, the things that we're seeing break down. Like buildings. You build a building, you have a brand new house, and you build that house in the year 2000. Well, in the year 2080, that house, if you don't maintain it, that house is going to break down. The wood in it, the metals, the plastics, the things that we used in that house, they're going to all start to break down. They're going to wear and tear. And what we call wear and tear is basically when you take atoms, particles, and I mean, we're going all the way down to atoms, but when you take those and they start to, you know, they're there over time, they're together really tightly, and that's the best way I can describe it. Everything is together really tightly, and then it starts to just kind of drift off, so where it's not together as tightly anymore, it's starting to disintegrate. And in this world experience that we see, we witness disintegration. Is that even a word? We witness the breakdown of the things we see and our bodies and basically everything. The road that I'm driving on right now, I don't know if you notice when I'm on this video, this road is like bump, 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 bump. I mean, this is a really, really super bumpy road. And the reason for that is that trucks are running over it constantly. So if they're not maintaining the road, there are going to be potholes and it's going to break down. And I'm looking at the concrete right here, and it's it's a mess. The fast lane isn't too bad, but I'm never in the fast lane because I take exits, so I'm always just bumping along here. But yeah, I mean, everything in this world, things don't remain brand spanking new. They break down. And entropy, if you look it up and you look at the universe, and I think that in one of my videos I mentioned like a star. When a star explodes and all the particles start to go out into the universe in general is moving away from its center at the speed of light. If you look up the universe is expanding. And the universe is expanding with everything in it. So everything is kind of expanding away from itself, basically. And the further it expands, the more unstable the things in the universe become. Everything becomes unstable when it expands. Now, we did talk about entropy as far as, you know, the breakdown of society. And where it comes to circumstances, I do understand that the logic in the fact that, yeah, sometimes things get really bad and then they get better. Where it comes to our circumstances, things don't always get bad and then end. There have been a lot of times, I mean, over history, all you have to do is look at history and where things got really, 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 really bad. Like the Great Depression, you know? And after things got bad, what was born out of that was something better. And yes, that absolutely can happen. That absolutely does happen. Where it comes to entropy as far as society is concerned, there is a certain amount of breakdown that can take place, like financial. There are financial things that can happen that can break down, you know, and yes, out of that can grow something new. And that is true. But because something new grows out of it, it doesn't mean that the old doesn't necessarily end or die. Because sometimes things do die for something new to grow out of it. When things fall and die, when things fall to the ground and die, and all that decay is in the ground, that can create a fertilization for something new to sprout up and to grow from it. But that thing that went into the ground still went into the ground. It still was buried, and that thing was done, and the new thing grew up. Now, I'm going to apply this to some Bible verses, and I don't have the verses memorized as far as where they came from. You can look, if you Google search these verses, the old is passed away and the new has come, or we're going to have a new heaven and a new earth. And these are all things that are in the Bible that talk about the old is going to go away and the new is going to sprout from it. So no matter what kind of entropy you have, there's always a potential for new to sprout from it. But that new, what is new that sprouts from it, is not the exact same thing as the old thing that went away. In the Bible, it talks about what I call the split. There's going to be a split. There's going to be a division between good and evil. There are people in the world who have good hearts, and there are people in the world who have really bad intentions and negative, and they enjoy doing evil things and seeing people suffer. And the goodness of the heart is going to split away from the evil of those who enjoy suffering, enjoy seeing everything else suffer. So those two things can't coincide forever. As far as the Bible is concerned, those two things are eventually going to split to where the good will be the new heaven and the new earth. And now some people believe that the evil will go on to burn forever in hell, but the Bible doesn't actually say that. The Bible calls it, it's a referral, a reference to Gehenna, which was a trash dump in Jerusalem. And in Gehenna, basically, it's throwing away the trash. That's the best way to put it as far as the biblical description of the burning that happens to the chaff. There's the wheat separated from the chaff, and then the chaff is basically doesn't exist or is tossed, is like it goes into what we would consider a trash dump or a burn barrel or something that just, is going to be no more. So really what the Bible describes as the split between heaven and hell is that things will get so bad, everything will get so bad there it will come to a head. There will be so much suffering, and all these different things happen. I'm not going to try to describe the entire book of Revelation in 3 minutes, but a lot of things happen, as far as the Bible story is concerned. You can either believe the Bible or don't believe the Bible, but I talk about it because I believe that it's fascinating. It does describe a lot of the quantum things that are going on. It describes a lot of the metaphysical and the scientific and the things that are going on in other realms. So I find it fascinating. And I like to compare that with other books and other religions, philosophies. So yes, the goodness of heart and what's considered love and light and positivity is going to go in a direction that will split off from the negativity and the evil and the disruption and the unkindness and the inhospitality and all the cruelty. Those things will disappear and the goodness will remain. And so I do understand, and I do completely agree that entropy exists in the entire universe, and everything's expanding, everything is breaking down, and things do break down. Our experience breaks down, our bodies break down, all these things break down, but what remains? What remains is thought consciousness, the source, the all, God. God has always been here, always will be here. That remains. So when things break down and new life sprouts, I believe that new life always sprouts from the source. I don't think it's the life itself that remains forever, but I do believe that the source remains forever. And so if we are all part of the source, it says we'll get new bodies. The Bible says we'll get new bodies. Do we turn into a different person? It doesn't say that. It just says we'll get new bodies. And if you read any of the Bible stories about people who got new bodies, they looked like themselves. So if we end up with new bodies, we'll still be us. We'll still look like ourselves. But we'll be ourselves in new bodies, but they'll be fresh bodies. They won't be stale. They won't be old. They won't be sick. They'll be better bodies. So that is a really, really good food for thought. And thank you, Jules, for bringing that up, because I do think that where it comes to our circumstances, if we're having, say that I have a business and I start a small business and that business just implodes, and I've made all kinds of bad decisions and really bad financial decisions, and I destroyed my business, and the whole thing I end up filing bankruptcy because that business didn't make it. Well, yes, out of that can come a better business. Out of that can come something that is, that makes even more money, or that I do even better with, absolutely. Here on this earth, in this game of life that we play, we go through a lot of things that can cause us pain and hardship and problems. But this life, this game is designed just for that. It's designed for that purpose, so that we will become stronger. We are here on this game board to become better. We are part of Source, thought consciousness, which is Source, God, the all, the I am. We are part of that. And we are fragments of that, or fractals of that, or like some people say, light rays. It's like if you imagine separate rays coming down from the sun, or however you want to visualize the parts that we are of Source. And here we are in this experience for the reason, there's one reason that they say, and I don't know everything about everything. I'm not telling you what to think, but from what I understand and what I've learned so far, this experience is there to strengthen us in love, to bond us together in love, to keep us in a place where we love through it all. And the name of the game is to love through it all. No matter what happens here on earth, love right through it. If somebody comes along and steals from me, I am to love right through that. If somebody hits my car, I am to love right through that. If I have a business and I'm making millions and millions of dollars, and somebody comes along and causes that business to go out of business, I am to love right through that. If anything bad happens on this earth, which it will, and things do, I am to love right through that. And I am to love just because that is what we are. We are love. We are love beings. We belong to love. And we belong to the all, the I am. And the I am is love. So this experience is to teach us to not focus on what's going on around us, but to make sure that no matter what happens around us, we focus on love. And not only just love, but also the practice of living in this world, but not of this world. We are in this world. We're in this experience, but this isn't where we're from. So we're always to remember where we're from. Remember who you are. That's from The Lion King. If you've ever seen The Lion King, remember who you are. You are the king's heir. And this experience does not stop that from happening. So if we can live in this experience knowing who we are and walk in this experience as the light beings that we are, that's the name of the game. That's what this experience is about. So anything else that happens, the universe can expand and things can fall apart, and societies can fall apart. Civilizations have fallen apart 5 times. I read that yesterday. 5 times entire civilizations have completely been obliterated from the earth. But out of that sprouted another civilization, and another one, and another one. And the same will happen to us eventually. We don't know when, we don't know how, but eventually this civilization will be done, and that particular part of the game will be over, and another civilization will sprout up, and then the game board will start all over again, and there will be another game to play. So that's a very, very, like I said, this is an elementary description of a very complex subject. but that's the best way I can describe it in my car without having books and things to search and, you know, and all this information in front of me. But that's the best that I can do with the memory that I have of all that I have researched in the last almost year now. But thanks again for being here. I do really, really appreciate you. I love the discussions. I love being able to talk about these things. And if anybody has anything to add to that, if anybody has any other thoughts, I am really, really, really happy to hear your thoughts. So thanks again. I'm going to get into the office. I hope you're all having a great day. I will see you next time.